from a farming family, apple farming actually. And when the government changed the rules for importing of foreign fruit in the 80s, my mum and dad needed to diversify a little bit, and they actually developed a little shack by the side of the road to sell their fruit. It sounds very flattering, but I think it's actually true. They were kind of pioneers of the farm shop wave before it was a thing. So that was my upbringing, my parents running a farm shop, which they then sold in 2008. My husband's got an MBA in small businesses, and I have an HR background and a psychology background, which actually is a huge benefit when running a business. So we'd flirted with opening something, and the actual original site that my father had his shack on had been derelict for 15 years, and after a few loose conversations with the landowner, decided it would be a good idea to start something from scratch. And following the footsteps of where my parents left off, but bring it into the 21st century.
Yeah.
So my brother's friend designed the building. My brother built the inside of the building, having never done that before. It allowed us to be unique. So the fit out isn't replicated anywhere else. As farm shops have come and gone, there's a kind of carbon cutout now. I've got a lot of family in Scotland, and it always amazes me how I can go from one end of the country to the other and see the same products on the same shelves. And I think we've managed to avoid that by being extremely independent. The building is beautiful, but we never wanted it to come across as elite. And so I think there's a really nice balance of something that looks good, but that feels warm. My husband was talking about the phrase, based on what we were eating, soup to nuts, which I had never heard of, but it's an American term, and it's beginning to end. And the Roman equivalent is ab ovo usque ad mala, which is the only Latin that I speak, and it's from the egg to the apple. And in the Roman times, that's how they would start their meal. And obviously they would eat an awful lot of awful things in the middle, but they would start their meal from the egg and finish with an apple, and it was to do with the digestive system. And it obviously sounds very left field to base a name on, but for us, we wanted to be somewhere where you could shop for everything. We wanted to very much be a beginning to the end of your meal, so a full basket shop in the grosser terms, I guess. We've managed to keep to that principle of people being able to come in for a full shop, to not have to go somewhere else. That if we can stop someone from going to a close by supermarket to pick up the pasta, you know, that's kind of a win for us. So we closed for a day, and we literally reorganized the shop, and we went from 0 to 100 deliveries in week 1. Had this ways to shop. It was almost like a Venn diagram. It was like you can get a collection, you can get a delivery, you can shop online, which came a bit later. It was making it clear to people what they could do, and how we could help them with that. We're not an essential food shop. We don't sell basic low price product, but that period of time, I suppose, highlighted to us that we were essential to the community if some of the other avenues that were available to them weren't available. The overheads in relation to COVID went up dramatically anyway, because you obviously had all the PPE, and then also more staff. We worked very hard at trying to be as separate as possible, but that meant people were more spread out, longer hours to allow for less overlap. And that's, you know, there's huge costs associated with that. The planning application is to extend the retail side of the shop so we can have a dedicated fresh produce area. Our fresh produce accounts for around 20% of our overall sales. That's how we get our full basket shop. That's how we get our repeat regular, and that's why they'll come back once or twice a week. So that side of the business is really important, and the building is fabulous, but it's so well insulated. It basically needs to be cooler. So we're building more of a sort of cold store effect type market that will go on one end, and then a dedicated cafe area.
Yeah.
We're also focused on getting by and dealing with the next problem. And then not often, unfortunately, many people in these industries have a chance to step back. And winning that award makes you step back and go, oh, we've done something quite good, haven't we? When you have nice stories, you really have to just stop for a moment and go, yeah, we did that.